for a second is, can you see this? This is a crock pot, but it's actually just for jewelry use. And it's nice and hot, so it's ready to be used. I'll put it down on low. And okay, so what we do with this crock pot, and you, again, make sure this is only for jewelry use. I know this stuff sounds like common sense, but this isn't something that you can clean afterwards and use to make rice or anything else in it. This has a bath of water and a solution that is for cleaning your jewelry after you solder it, or you can also clean your jewelry in general in here. And then you're going to want to rinse it with water before you go ahead and polish it. So this gets really hot, so you also want to be careful not to open it and look immediately in, because the steam is going to rise up. So when you're putting things in and out of your crock pot, you can only use copper tongs. You cannot use these for soldering because you're going to burn yourself, but you cannot use these in your pickle pot. So the reason why is copper is the only metal that can go in the pickle. Any other metal, the heat and the solution that's in there is going to strip the metal and just plate whatever items you have in there. So you don't want that to happen. So keep them separate however you need to do it. Your tweezers with the wood are for soldering, and then these copper tongs are for your pickle. Okay, let's get started. I'll go over tumbling to polish these afterwards, but for now, we're gonna get soldering. Okay, so I'm gonna turn on, actually before I turn on my torch, what I like to do is preload some of my tools. And keep in mind, I'm preloading this while the tweezers are cold. You do not want to do this while the tweezers are hot, because the post will immediately get hot and burn yourself. Another little tip that I've seen, if you'd like to, let's say you're in massive production mode. You've taken this class, you excelled, you started your own jewelry line, and now you're mass producing. How do you do this quickly? You can actually stick things into this board if you want, or you can make your own little setup where you have a bunch of earring posts sticking up, and then as you're soldering, you just go boop, boop, and you just pick them up one by one, and you can trailblaze through. But for the case of this just one set, I am going to put the earring post, and you'll see when you put your earring post in, there's one side that has a notch and one side that is completely flat. The side that has a notch is going to be on the outside of the earring post, because that's where your earring backing is going to catch onto. So we're going to take the super straight and flat side and attach it to our charm. The pieces that you are soldering have to be completely straight and flat. In this case, both of these items that I am using are machine cut, so I know that they are completely straight. And the reason being is so that the solder can easily flow in between them. If you try and solder this flat bottom onto something that is half round, it's going to be a lot harder, because it's not going to be easy for the solder to grab to everything. Okay, so our tweezer is set with our post. I'm going to put this down here. I'm going to turn on this tiny torch. I hear it. I'm going to strike it. All right, why are you not doing it now? Ah, there we go. Okay, now we are playing with fire. So my torch is on. I am going to just dip this in the solder paste. And this is a super tiny item, so it's gonna go really, really fast. I think after this video is done, if you wanna rewatch it, you can zoom in and see how it happens, because it's gonna go really fast. So you're gonna see the silver start to turn a reddish color. And you're gonna wanna solder with your flame moving in a circular motion. All of the pieces have to be equally heated for this to work. So you don't want to sit there and just have it like this pointing at it, because it will melt your item very quickly. So you're going to be going in a circular motion. You're going to see, if you're using the paste, You're gonna see it start to turn kind of chalky, bright, bright red, and then you see it flow, and it just flowed. So that is done. I'm gonna turn my torch off. Very important. Always remember if your torch is on or off. Okay, so there is our earring. It looks all dark and gross, and you know, you can't put this on right away. So I know my joints are tight, so I'm just going to put this down. I'm going to pick it up with my copper tongs now, and I'm going to put it in the pickle bath. Okay, so for the sake of time, I actually have one in there that I did a few minutes ago, because you want to leave this in the bath for a few minutes. Okay, so this is the one that I did before, because we just fast forwarded to the future a few minutes. So everything is cool. I quenched it. It is not too hot. I'm just going to dry it off for a second. Okay. And this is our tiny little earring. So when you pull things out of the pickle, sometimes, no matter what, even if you're using gold or silver, will always have this happen. A little bit of a pinkish color might come up, and that is called fire scale. So all metals have some level of copper in them. And that is because even pure gold, the reason why we have the different carats is the percentage of the metal that's in them. Even gold, pure gold, is too soft for you to wear. So sterling silver, it has a tiny bit of copper in it to make it a little bit harder. So when you put flame to metals, that copper kind of rises to the top, and you need to clean it off. So the pickle helps with that. And then the other thing that you can do is hand polish it, which I'm going to do in a different class. So for this case, these are super tiny. They do not have visible fire scale because the pickle took care of it. So the way that I like to polish something like this, because hand polishing something that tiny, it's not worth doing it. You can easily just do what I'm about to do, which is throw it in a tumbler. So this is the top of a tumbler, and it comes on a base like this. Okay, it's like a little rotary piece. So you plug it in. I recommend, especially if you're doing this at home, you can put it on top of something that will muffle it, like you can use a pillow, a carpet, whatever you want, because it gets really, really loud. And then this piece opens up, okay? And inside there are little steel shots, which are little beads that are, when this is spinning and spinning and spinning, it's going to hit the surface of the item that you are polishing and clean it. And then for the solution, it's this little soap that you can buy. And if you need help with places to buy stuff, let me know. Rio Grande and Fire Mountain Gems are two really popular websites for cleaning supplies, or for jewelry supplies, I should say. So this is just like a white powder. So you put in a little bit, just a little bit, and then you fill it so that your pieces and the beads are completely covered with water. And then you close this. You plug it onto your tumbler. Okay. And then you flip on the switch, and you can let it run for something that small. An hour, 2 hours is fine. For larger scale jewelry, you can leave it on overnight if you'd like. There's many different types of tumblers. This is a very simple one. They make much larger ones for larger scale pieces and just for different types of jewelry. So, okay, our piece is tumbling. We're going to fast forward into the future again. And I have a pair that I already tumbled so that you could see them. And here you go. These are our sterling silver, that didn't help, our sterling silver little moons.